Hey everyone, Jay here from the Global Coaching Academy, and welcome to our new YouTube series, Conversations on Purpose. Now, I'm going to be speaking to mentors, coaches and facilitators to find out what makes them tick, how and why they ended up in their industry, the challenges and benefits of working in this field, and I do hope sincerely that it brings great value to all of the viewers out there. Now, I'm really grateful to have kicked off this series with a good long-term friend of the Global Coaching Academy, Miss Julie Skinner. Now, Jules, affectionately known as Jules, was actually a facilitator when I was coming through the course many years ago. And my experience of her back then when I was a student is like, my golly, this lady genuinely cares for me and my evolution, not just as a coach, but as a person. I felt seen, I felt very loved and cared for by her. So this was a beautiful opportunity to get to know Julie on a deeper level, and it was just lovely to have this conversation. I hope all of you enjoy this episode. Lots of love, stay bright, and remember guys, never ever give up. Out of everything you could have done, Miss Julie, why coaching, and how did you end up coaching? What's the story behind all that?
And what a great question, because we have so many choices in life. It's true, I was a registered nurse working in the health profession, moved into management. I really enjoyed my time as a manager, but I knew it was going to be short-lived, a few years. It wasn't going to be ongoing, and my heart was lighting up to really find a way to support my fellow health professionals, especially nurses, but not exclusively, who are just the most kind-hearted people who really just care and serve and want to do their best and often aren't very good at looking after themselves. So I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do that. It was just something that was really rising up within me. And then, as often is the case, the next thing presented. I was asked if I wanted to join a year-long, quite immersive experience in leadership training. And I was like, oh, yes, let's go. And that course had a lot of elements of introspection, reflection. Who are you? What are you bringing? How and who are you? And I loved that course. And that was a stepping stone, really, because part of that course offered one-on-one coaching, which I thought was just amazing. I had never experienced coaching before. And then the course ended, and probably because I was so enthusiastic and excited by it, I was asked to facilitate that training the following year and did so for the next couple of years. And like as we often do when we kind of are excited, it's like, yes, I'll do that. And then it's like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? What experience do I have? I don't know how to coach. I've got no training. So that was when I realized, oh my goodness, I can blunder my way through this. I'm a caring person, I care about people and I love to help, but it's like, I need a little more structure here. And then found GCA, Global Coaching Academy, and it lit my heart up. I was just like, oh my God, this is it. This is something that is so much different to what else is out there. There's so many great coaching schools out there, absolutely. But I didn't just want the nuts and bolts. I didn't just want the structure. I wanted something that was really going to support people to feel their beautiful hearts and support them to evolve and grow as part of giving them a skill set. And that's how I came to coaching. I never thought I would teach, coach, mentor, do any of that. So it's interesting as well. I think for many of us, it can be what we feel most drawn to. We can also feel most resistance to. It's kind of scary.
Absolutely.
So it terrified me. And now, of course, I love it and I can't imagine doing anything else.
It's interesting that point you make there, Jules, where it is often the thing that is going to light us up the most is actually the thing we're so scared of as well. It reminds me of that quote, something along the lines of the treasure you seek is held within the cave you fear most, or something like that. And it's so often,
a poetic understanding. Yeah.
It's so often when the thing that is going to stretch us the most and challenge us the most, and there can be so much fear around that thing, if we follow through with it, can be our biggest breakthrough, and actually the thing that our heart's really looking to do. And so often people can stumble over that and think, oh, it's not meant to be, because there's all this
Yes.
fear coming up. But of course, there's going to be some fear if you're stepping into something that's going to help you grow, because that's going to be challenging. And if it's new as well, there's going to be a whole unknown component to it. So good on you for doing it anyway.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it?
Yeah,
Otherwise, our heart dims a little, and that's not a good feeling. We want,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we do feel it when we miss opportunities. Absolutely. That's not a nice feeling. I
it's
know
not a
about that.
nice feeling, no.
So follow hearts, knowing, follow impressions, follow intuition.
Yeah, even
Absolutely.
if it's scary. Well, it will be scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome, Jules. And so, in all your time coaching, so when was that? When did you actually do the course and
Yeah.
graduate?
13 years ago. Seems like longer, but it's only 13 years ago. It's funny. I went looking back. I thought, no, it must be longer than that, but no.
13 years. That's still a hefty time to be in the profession. Um, I'm curious to know, Jules, in your time over that 13 years coaching, is there any is there any common challenges that you find with clients, or even just with you coaching?
Yeah, it's interesting because when I first started and I was very, it's like learning, huge learning curve. And I hadn't learned because it was prior to beginning formal coaching training how to interrupt someone. And working in health, people are starved for time for themselves. So those clients that I had in the early days, they just wanted to talk and be heard, which is valid, but it's not coaching, just to be able to go blur and, oh, I feel better, thanks. And it's like, oh my God, I don't think this is right. We don't have an agreement. Where are we going? Okay. And so that is something that I really have learned, especially from working with people in health that are so focused on fixing stuff, getting stuff done, and being told how to do it. It's so much a life and death situation, I suppose you could say that it is. There's a lot of shorthand in
Hmm.
conversations. So really
Hmm.
being able to slow things down and guide that exploration with a decent agreement so that people can have an exploration and a way forward rather than just a let's chuck it all out here on the table. So how I did that and how I learned to do that was asking permission. May I interrupt you? Because I'm
Mm.
looking for and listening
Hmm.
for things that are underneath perhaps what you're saying, the deeper meaning of thing, what might be guiding how you're feeling about things. And something happens when we ask for permission, people, again, it's respectful, people feel heard and they go, oh, okay. And they get a bit curious. Oh, that's interesting. Most people, in the outside world will just interrupt. They won't ask permission, for
Yeah,
instance.
yeah. Yeah, again, it's like, oh, this person actually cares. They're asking me permission. That's my experience of it
Yeah.
anyway. When it's like, yeah, sure, sure. And just to touch on a couple of things there, Jules, when you were saying when you started out that people just wanted to share and talk and talk. Some people watching this won't know the difference between coaching, mentoring, and counseling, um,
Mm.
letting someone talk is more of a therapy based approach. It's more counseling, and although it's at times it can be important to let the person just talk, and it is also important that we can interrupt if we feel to, and asking permission is a wonderful way to do that. So there's, I'll be doing another video, guys, on the difference between
Mm,
coaching, mentoring, and counseling there, because there's a lot of confusion out there about that, and
yes.
there is a really big difference between all three modalities. And I'd love to put out a video just so people can be more clear on that. So also, well, how do you deal with, that sounded like a challenge early on for you, Jules. What about difficult clients? How do you deal with difficult clients? And I guess when I say difficult clients, I mean uncoachable, maybe clients.
I laugh because I think we can all be uncoachable in moments for all kinds of reasons. And yeah, I think it comes back to our own expectations, perhaps, and our judgments, because if someone's uncoachable, that's going to indicate there's some trauma there. They don't feel safe with us. So I think it's about us as a
Mm,
coach creating that rapport and that so the client feels that they can share with us. And sometimes, and I certainly have had this, where clients are really just testing us out. Are you trustworthy? Are you even listening?
mm,
Are you remembering what I'm saying? And
mm.
they don't trust easily. And I get that, you know, from the trauma that people have experienced. And sometimes it just takes a bit longer. So, yeah, I guess not writing off people early in the early days, I think that's really important because some people are just going to take a few sessions to really want to open and feel safe to and to test the waters with you. And I think we can all be so used to being judged that you give people a new experience, just not judging them. It's like, okay, that's how you are, that's what you need. I may depends how it feels and how the client feels. I may gently challenge, hey, you feel a little closed today, like you don't want to be here. How is that for you? And that could be a bit of because not everyone's aware either. People aren't always
Yeah,
aware how they are. They just are as they are. And, you know, so yeah, I suppose the bottom line would be giving people a new experience of not being judged. Such a huge thing. And
yeah,
giving them choice. And I guess in the where I'd come from, sometimes they would mandatory set coaching sessions, and that never works for that very reason. People feel resentful, they feel like they're made to, there's no choice. People need choice. Who are they resonating with? I might want to work with you, but not you. They have to have
uh,
choice because it's such a relational deep dive, really, into your life. So yeah,
yeah,
you got to feel rapport and like, yeah, this person, I can work with this person.
yeah. Sure, that makes sense, Jules. If we were in a situation where, say, an employee was being forced or asked to be coached and they didn't have a choice of who the coach was, that can be, they might be a bit closed because they haven't had the chance to, to choose who they want to work with. And I just sense with your approach there just a deep compassion for the client, and it just sounds like you're coming from a place of, that a lot of people have a lot of issues and it can take some time to open up. So just holding them with that care, that love and compassion, and the key was that non-judgment. Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
that really does. It's a new thing for a lot of people just to be held
Mm,
in a space of non-judgment, and that can be deeply healing in itself.
yes, absolutely. Because it's so new, it can just blow things out of the water. It's like it's just so new, and people are so confused by it as well because we can just be so used to being judged. And that's just
Yeah,
not verbally. People think, oh, judgment's verbal. No, it's an energetic thing where it's just disapproval, maybe. I disapprove of what you're doing or who you are or everything, anything and everything. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And people are very perceptive and they feel a lot and they pick up on a lot. And
Yes.
a big part of the training that we undergo is to really resolve a lot of our stuff to um, we really go on this journey of self-discovery and to look at where we are judging and where we still have baggage, so we can go back and really resolve a lot of that stuff. Why? Because we want to bring our best self to our clients. We want to heal and refine ourselves, and in doing that, we're able to bring a clearer mirror and again just our best self to clients, which is really important.
Yeah, so important.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like, and the work continues. I feel like sometimes people think there's this inferior, superior dynamic that can play out with
Mm.
any sort of therapy or modality, or they're in the position of power, they know. And, we're very much in coaching where we're coming from. We're coming to the session as equals, and knowing that that person is the expert in their life, and we are there just to use wise questioning basically to help them uncover what they already know. It's not I'm the coach and I'm going to tell you how to do it. It's not that.
Yeah, and
Yes.
that's what I love about coaching. Again, especially coming from a health background where you do need to be the expert, you do need to have competence, you do need to have the answers. And it's so refreshing for those that do experience it to coach that they actually don't need to do that. It's like the one place, and then that can permeate out into other areas of life. Oh my God, I don't have to always have the answers. I don't have to know, and I don't have to tell. I don't have to advise. In fact, if I do that, I'm not coaching. I'm doing something else. So yeah,
Yes.
wonderful, and really bring forth that wisdom that lies within all of us. We all find that, and that is all within, and asking that question, giving the space for that to percolate, that's the magic really of coaching.
Yeah. Nice one, Jules. What's I'm interested to know from your perspective as well, what are some of the benefits from one-on-one coaching for the client? For the
Yes, for the
client.
client, not for the
What are some
coach.
Yeah, because there's benefits for
I'm
both.
making a joke.
Absolutely. We can yeah. I mean, there is benefits for both, and we can get into
There
that.
is benefits for
Yeah,
both,
what
but
what
I
is
guess I
the
was
what are
just mm, um yes, the benefits. Well, going back to my early days of coaching, where it was quite profound, this because of the pressure as a health professional to know, to be the expert, and to voice any doubts, could raise concerns in other professionals, because it's like, oh, you don't feel so sure now, you don't feel so certain of choices that you may have made. So bringing that vulnerability, which is a part of being a client, being coached, it's such an important place where people can actually consider other ways that they may have handled a situation, what they could learn, what they could do differently. And to do that in a group setting felt quite dangerous for a lot of health professionals. So really important in that profession to have that one-on-one time. Again, only when the client felt that their confidence was being held. That had to be really
ah,
important. And of course, we set groups up so that people understand that and abide by that, but still, it felt risky for some more than others. And, there can be a financial pressure in health and other professions where it's like, no, we have the finances for group, but we can't do one-on-one. That's too much cost. So it's a shame. So, people can miss out in that way unless they're willing to pay for it themselves and can.
yeah.
So yeah, I think really important, especially initially, but not exclusively, but especially initially, so important for people to have that one-on-one opportunity. And again, if we're going to do group coaching, the group has to be selected very carefully with people that really want to be there and are going to be really respectful of each other and hold confidence, not take things out of the room
Yeah.
because of, environments. So you can go deeper, as well, because we all self-edit depending on the environment we find ourselves in. And I have experienced people will go more deeply in a one-on-one session, and because it feels less dangerous, if you like, or it feels safer. It feels like I know you and I trust you, and I know you're not going to judge me, you're not going to betray my confidence. So it gives people an opportunity to go deeper. Because I think a lot of people can have trauma around group settings for their group
Yeah,
experiences. Can be from
absolutely.
school, early school
Yeah.
experiences, anything, sporting
Yeah.
teams, any kinds of things. Groups can leave a bad taste in our mouth where we might like, oh no, don't think so. Who are
Yeah.
these people? I don't know them.
Why should I open up? Why would
Or I
I
do
open up?
know them and I don't even, I don't trust them either way, and
Yeah.
all of that in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is potentially the opportunity to go deeper with a one-on-one session if that rapport's there,
Mm,
and groups can work, of course. Yet, I can
mm,
see the benefit of working with a client, a coachee on a long-term basis, and really building that rapport and trust so they feel safe and can go deeper, which can be wonderfully helpful for them in their life to gain insights that perhaps they wouldn't have usually got or wouldn't have got to.
absolutely. Yeah, so that accelerated growth or just growth and evolution is, yeah, yeah, I think it's really important because we all have blind spots and then we won't see them unless we have someone who is going to walk beside us and help us to see them because they are
Hmm.
blind. We don't know. They're out of our conscious awareness. So
Mm.
that's where they will stay unless we really are willing to dive more deeply. And really, I don't think it can be done without someone that is really able to see
Yeah,
and support the exposure of that. Because I think we can just be a little invested in our view of who and what we are. So
keeping the
important to
blind
have
spots
someone,
where
keeping
they
them
are.
safely in place.
When you were sharing that, Jules, I was having a bit of a chuckle because I'm like, eventually, though, if we really don't want to see our blind spots and we're not engaging in one-on-one coaching or mentoring, then life eventually has a way of pushing it into your awareness and saying, hey, have a look at this. I've been trying to get you to look at this for some time and you haven't. So it's gone on long enough. You need to deal with this. So we can
That's
avoid
very true.
we can avoid that and be proactive with our personal spiritual development. And one way I do that, and I felt very helpful, is I've been working with a mentor and coach for many, many, many years because it's exactly what Jules said. Is we do have blind spots, and just having someone else's lenses and their perception and their angle on things and their experience can be enough to shift us and give us new insight and to bring those blind spots into our awareness, which can be horrendously wonderful. If you are, it can be a shock sometimes. It's like, what are you?
Oh,
Oh my
yeah,
God, I'm actually like
absolutely.
that, or I'm really behaving like this, or this is really a character trait. There's things that are unconscious. But if we're someone that wants to grow into a better, wiser version of ourselves, then we'll be grateful for that
Yeah,
also.
absolutely. It's freeing as well as yeah, it can be very challenging, as you say, but it is freeing because we get to be more of who we actually are rather than all these layers of illusion and pretending, really, and hoping no one notices, even though we may not be aware of it. But it is that, well, actually, as Belinda has shared, which I love that expression, it's like painting nail polish, over the crusty bits. Look,
Yeah.
it looks pretty. It looks pretty. You won't notice. You won't see what's
Don't look
underneath,
too
will you?
close, though.
Don't look too
Yeah.
close. We all have those parts, of
We
course.
all have. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I hadn't heard that actually
Oh,
from
you haven't heard that
that's
one.
a good
It's a
one.
good
Yeah.
one, isn't it?
Yeah. That's great, Jules. And just would like to know what's your favorite thing about coaching?
Oh, yes, my favorite thing about coaching it's really seeing people transform. And I think, you know, we can throw around that word transform a bit, but by what I mean by that is that permanent
Mm,
change where it's just not, oh, I'm willing myself to be different and I'm thinking about it really hard to make it be so, which isn't lasting. It just doesn't last because it doesn't address those deeper things that drive our behavior. You know, when people are really changed, they're more confident, they are really owning what they have to give and share to the world, when they feel more at peace with themselves, you know, that's just lovely and wonderful. And that's what coaching can offer.
mm,
Because, you know, like you were talking about the differences with the modalities, and I think one of the big differences for me is that coaching works with clients that are functioning. You know, they're functioning in their lives, they've got their life together and they want to grow and they're committed to that. But they know they have blind spots, they know they got stuff that's holding them back. And, you know, being able to work with them, walk side by side with them so that they can truly heal that stuff and really be different. You know, that's a wonderful thing to be able to walk with people on that path.
I feel your joy in that, Jules. That's palpable, the joy in that.
Yeah. My only wish is that I had come to it earlier in my life, but then again, everything is perfect as well. And I think we need a foundation in what not to do before we really can find our way out and what I could do differently and how, you know, how it could be different. So, you know, not regret, just, oh, well, I just wonder sometimes, you know, how it would be if we raised our young, we raised our
Yeah,
children right from the
yeah,
outset. And one day, hopefully, that will be the case where, you know, this is just part of our human experience and it's how we parent and it's how we teach without having to undo all the mess later in life. But one day we'll work towards that anyway.
yeah. Wouldn't that be wonderful? We're genuinely caring for each other's hearts from day one and being able to hold space and deeply connect and care for each other without judgment, but just, it's that namaste
Mhm.
experience.
Yeah,
Love in me, divinity in me meets, greets, honors, and loves the same in you. And it's just coming from that place in all moments. And also, while we're working towards that, which would, um, which I feel is a real potential at some stage on the planet,
yes,
while
absolutely.
we're work while we're working towards that, Julie, I feel there's something so rich about ones that have been through a whole bunch of stuff. They've had life experience. They've gone through all these trials and tribulations before they've come to this kind of industry and this field, because there's just so much that they have to offer once they're trained. They've got so much to offer people. And if you would know yourself, if we've gone through a particular trauma or experience and we've healed from that, then we're really able to genuinely walk alongside someone who is going through something similar as well, because we've come through that.
Yeah,
And so there is something to be said about life experience and having those years, all those experiences, whatever it is for all of us, because we're also unique, and that's what I love as well about coaches, mentors, everyone really is. We're just all so unique, but on the inside we're the same, and we all just bring this beautifully unique flavor to our coaching, our mentoring, our discipline, whatever that is. And that's needed because there
yeah,
is so many people in the world with so many different experiences. And, one person's going to resonate with me, another person's going to resonate with Jules, and so on and so forth. So it doesn't really matter where you've come from. If you have the call and really feel called to be in the helping industry, then absolutely go for it. Because if that call's there, then it means you've got something to offer. and
Yeah,
yeah, and
absolutely.
the world needs people that have been through stuff, come through stuff, and can then turn back and lend a hand to those who are still struggling through similar issues or just issues generally.
Yeah. Yes, very true. And that's authentic, because otherwise we can just be, you know, I don't know, we could say coaching in an industry such as coaching, but without any life experience, it's, people feel that as well. It's
Yeah,
like, well, you don't know, you haven't been there. And it's not as
yeah,
if as a coach you need to speak about your experiences necessarily, but people will feel that, and it's really important, and it inspires others. Well, if you can do it, I can do it. And
yeah,
I feel like you know the struggles, you understand them, and you're able. Okay, I can do that too. Yeah, really important.
yeah. Yeah, it really brings just this richness to the field. There is the field theory that we talk about
Yeah.
that's built between two people when they form a coaching relationship. There is this field, and there's so much being communicated in that field. A very small percentage of it is verbally,
Yes.
and we dive deeply into that, guys, with the diploma. And I just love everything about coaching. Honestly, it's just wonderful. So we're nearly wrapping up, Jules. I'd like to ask you if the universe waved its magic wand and you could only remember one lesson that you've learned from your journey with coaching, what would that be?
Mm. That we all have innate wisdom, and we don't need anyone else to tell us. We need people to help us find it, to discover it, and to perhaps support us with the right question at the right time. Not that there's any magic question, but there's something about, a deeply powerful question at the right moment that can
Mm.
just really open up such innate wisdom within. So yeah, I think I forgot the question. What did you ask? Wave
Oh,
the
well,
magic wand.
yeah. It's if you could only remember one lesson,
Oh, I remember
what
one
would
lesson.
that be? And I mean, that's deep. And that's quite moving to hear, Jules, that truth that you just shared there.
It's funny that the actual question disappeared. It's like then I was like, oh, did I answer that? But
Mm.
yes, yeah, gosh, because that's returning home really, isn't it? It's like, oh my goodness, I keep looking all out here, out here, out here. I look everywhere, but actually I got to turn around and come right back here in to me.
Yeah,
That
nice
journey.
one.
It's lovely.
Hey,
Mm,
yeah, nice
lovely
one,
journey.
Julie. I mean, if you took that and that's all you could remember, if that was then, I mean, that's a good thing to have on board to know about that, that innate wisdom that is within us and everyone else. Very lovely. Couple more. So, for anyone out there who may be considering a career in mentoring coaching, is there anything you would share with those ones?
Yes, gosh, just do it. If your heart is calling you, even if there's resistance, which there usually is, as we've talked about, to something that's really calling to your heart, that's going to be so fulfilling that you're being drawn to do, just do it. Take that step. Or as someone else wise has shared with me before, just say yes and figure out how later.
Yes.
Because
Yes,
of course that
absolutely.
stops the mind getting involved and trying to figure it all out and how will I do it? What will it's just like, yes, and I'll
Yes.
figure it out. One foot
Yeah.
in front of the other. Yeah,
Yeah.
because really, what can
Just
be more rewarding if you're feeling drawn to give back, to support others? There's nothing more rewarding than that, because really, that is a big part of our journey here. We're all in this together. How can we support each other? Bring your peace.
Yeah. Awesome, Julie. And these modalities, they do resonate and call people who do want to give back. They really do, people that want to give back to life and help people, and that's what they call to. These modalities call to those people. So yeah, absolutely agreed. If the calling's there, force a yes out and deal with the rest of the stuff later, because absolutely the mind will kick in and be like, how. But if you're being called to it or whatever it is deeply in your heart, and in clear moments you've got that, then it can happen. You don't need to know about the details. It's meant to happen. Just say yes and follow the breadcrumbs. That would be my suggestion.
Yes.
And it's amazing how things work out. Then you don't need to know about it again, because if you've had that calling and you just take that leap of faith, then just everything does magically and synchronistically work out in beautiful
Yes.
ways.
We are led step by step.
Indeed. So thanks, Jules. One more question, which is about GCA, because you did touch on there is a million coaching courses out there. There's a million brilliant coaching courses out
Yeah,
there as well. This
absolutely.
isn't we're the one and only. There's a million great coaches, great courses out there, and which are suitable for people. We're going to resonate with some. It's the same as individual coaches. Some courses are going to resonate with some, and others. There are a million courses out there. Jules, if you could, in your experience, what was or is the point of difference with the Global Coaching Academy?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it attracted me. It attracted my heart because it had, the complete, I suppose, more complete, more thorough. It wasn't just looking at the skills and the competencies, which are very important. Absolutely, they're not important, but it was bigger than that. It was more round, it was more full. It was looking at who I was spiritually, it was looking at deep emotional clearing of stuff. It was looking at really deeply challenging who I was, because I wanted to be a coach that was authentic, because I knew I had stuff. I knew I had stuff that was going to get in the way, because I didn't know at the time, but I know now that if I haven't healed something within myself, I'm unable to go anywhere with someone else that has a similar thing. So my own healing was really important. So GCA offered that deeply healing experience and course, whilst giving me a whole skill set. It's like, what more could be better? Awesome. And that individual attention, which you've also touched on. Intakes tend to be smaller, you get a lot of individual attention, and with facilitators that just are really invested in your success. Every person is dare I say, loved and championed. You're not just a number. You are, someone that is unlimited potential, really. So how can we support you to bring that to the world? So that's what lit me up. And I think it is different to, well, whatever else I have found out there. There's some amazing coaching schools, of course, but they didn't speak to me. They didn't speak to my heart like GCA did. So I trust my heart. I allow my heart to go. Even if my head can be going, no, my God, oh, how are you going to do that? And blah, 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 blah. It's just like, I'm going to find a way. I'll make it work. Because this is the only thing that's truly fulfilling, really. I've tried all the other ways.
Nice one, Jules. Well, we love you. We love everything you've done for the academy, and it's just lovely to sit down and hear more of your journey. And I was right. from when I came through the course. Just again, I just feel so much care that you have for people, and for their well-being and for their evolution and their growth. It just comes through. It just comes through loud and clear when I'm sitting here talking to you. So we love you, Jules, and I'm really grateful to have had a chat to you today. Is there anything you want to share before we wrap it up?
Yeah, well, just thank you. Thank you, Jay. GCA is in very good hands now with you and Marg out the front. So wonderful, wonderful to have your enthusiasm,
Thank you.
passion, your absolute passion for people. It's lovely. Yeah. Thank you
Thank you.
both.
Thanks, Jules. Well, guys, that's us for this first episode of this new thing that we're doing, which we felt inspired to do and finally landed it. So lots of love, people. If you want to know more about GCA, the course, the services that we provide, then go to the website, which is globalcoach.com.au. You can also get in touch with us at admin@globalcoach.com.au. And we would love to see you on one of our classes or at one of our events, or join us for the diploma. Lots of love, guys. See you shortly.